Ladies and gentlemen, a warm welcome on my behalf to this ABB Innovative Simplicity Experience Day. My name is Anssi Rantanen, and I'm excited and fortunate to be your host for the next 2 hours. Today, we're going to be experiencing the virtual product launch of ABB's new Relion protection relay. And it would be nice to see all of you face to face in the same room, but of course, due to these times, we are doing this virtually. And I actually think that there's one great benefit that comes out of that, which is of course that we can truly reach you globally from wherever you are dialing in from. There should be people from Asia, Europe, Africa online, and maybe even people from the Americas who have woken up early in order to tune in. Wherever you are dialing in from, we're super excited to have you here because it's going to be a fun, fast-paced, and a good event overall. So thanks for tuning in, and yeah, we're excited to be here. The agenda for the next 2 hours consists of a lineup of speakers from ABB's top management and product experts. And of course, there's the exciting product reveal itself. Did you know that ABB's history of energizing the transformation of society and industry stretches back more than 130 years? Countless technological breakthroughs later, today ABB employs about 110,000 people in over 100 different countries. So truly a global reach, as we can also see in the participants and you guys dialing in. But I want you to imagine for a second, the world that the first pioneers within the field of electricity and electrification were living in the 1890s. That was a quite different world than the one we live in today. They, of course, had immense challenges, which, to be honest, I think is a pretty clear similarity and overlap between where we are in this day and age today. The challenges were huge back then, but so are they today, right now. ABB is committed to building a safe, smart, and sustainable world, and develops products with these 3 pillars in mind. Today, we are here to experience yet another development, and we're gonna reveal to you the latest addition to the Relion family of protection relays. So what are we doing today? What are we in for? Today, we're gonna kick off with a few welcoming words from the management, followed by the event keynote by Dr. Amina Hamidi. After that, we're gonna show you what we mean with innovative simplicity. We're gonna show you something that you'll probably, or you are quite curious about. After that, we're going to be doing expert talks where you will get more insights, hands-on practical examples, and some, concrete tips on how to use the relay. And finally, we're going to be attending to your questions as well. So as a reminder, if and when you have any questions that crop up in your mind as we're running along the presentation, do not hesitate to send them in through the questions box, and we will then tackle them and answer them in the end. But without further ado, I think it's time to kick off the show today. We will start our lineup of speakers today with Mr. Alessandro Palin, the Division President of ABB's Distribution Solutions. He is leading a unit of more than 19,000 people across the world, and he's been with ABB since 1995 and has held numerous sales and management positions within the electrification business. In his opening remarks today, he's going to lead us to the world of safe, smart, and sustainable electrification. Now, help me, let's do a virtual round of applause and welcome Mr. Alessandro Palin.
Hello to everybody. My name is Alessandro Palin and I am the President of ABB Distribution Solutions. I am really pleased today to be with you for the launch of a new relay of the Relion family. We would have liked to meet you in person, but unfortunately, due to the circumstances, this has not been possible, so we rely on a virtual event. At ABB, we are committed to build a safe, smart, and sustainable world. Around these three pillars, our engineers have developed a new product that will help our customers, our partners, to be successful in their job, in their activities. Our technological innovation are the results of a strong and continuous collaboration with our partners, the end users, the utilities, panel builders, OEMs. We listen to them and we take note. Today, I'm really pleased that my colleagues will present to you the innovative features of this relay. This relay brings within the tagline of innovative simplicity. It is extremely simple to buy, to set up, to install. It is really a plug-and-play solution. I'm sure that today with us you will get a number of information that will be beneficial for your future work and activity. In the meantime, I thank you very much for joining us today, and I sincerely hope that next time we will be able to meet in person. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Alessandro Palin, for your welcoming words. I think we're all quite curious to hear what this innovative simplicity means, but we're going to get to that in a moment's time. We're going to continue with some welcoming words from Mr. Marco Nunes, the Global Product Marketing Manager in ABB Distribution Solutions. Marco has been with ABB since 2012 and is responsible for the global marketing and sales for digital substation products and systems. He will now share some insights on what led ABB to reveal this new product to the market with us. Please welcome via video presentation, Mr. Marco Nunes.
Hello, my name is Marco Nunes and I'm the Global Product Marketing Manager of Digital Substation Products and Systems. It's my pleasure to connect over video today. And I sincerely hope we can meet in person next time. I will tell you something about myself. I get very enthusiastic about new product developments and new technology. But nothing makes me more excited than delivering a new ABB Relion Relay family member. Let's take another great step in the power distribution business. And you will learn about it very soon. Then what is driving us in developing a new ABB protection relay? then is to make our customers' life better in a way that we deliver what they wanted. It means a simple, rich in functionality, flexible and cost-effective new relay. What's really special about this new relay? It's its innovative simplicity. We have been connecting ABB members together with business partners, R&D, collecting feedbacks all around the world, asking what would you like us to change, to improve, to modify for a better customer experience. And all those things together then led us to finally reveal this new product to the market. And I sincerely believe this is what you wanted. We'll show you how all this comes together with Martin Nyquist, the product manager. He will reveal the product in a while. Thank you for joining this virtual event. We know the situation has been challenging in many ways, and thanks to all the ABB members which made this virtual event possible. And thank you all, and hoping you will enjoy this virtual experience. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Marco Nunes, for your kind, welcoming words. I think we're all getting a bit curious as to what this innovative simplicity means, but that is something that we're going to get to in due time. I had a few interesting data points that I wanted to share with all of you today. For example, did you know that ABB invests approximately $1.3 billion in research and development efforts annually? That is 4.8% of ABB Group revenues. Or did you know, personally I liked this fact quite a bit, did you know that ABB was the #1 Swiss company for patent applications in the year of 2020, with 678 patent applications? ABB filed more applications with the European Patent Office than any other Swiss company. Pretty interesting, pretty cool, right? The company employs approximately 7,000 R&D engineers globally, of which more than 60% are focused on software development and digitalization. But next up, I have the great pleasure of introducing our keynote speaker for today, Dr. Amina Hamidi, Chief Technology Officer at ABB Electrification. Amina has been recognized as a leader driving growth and prosperity through technology and innovation, and has been awarded European CTO in the year 2019, a prestigious award, of course. So I think, we're eager to hear what she has to say. She holds a PhD in electrical engineering and has been with ABB since 1998. She leads more than 2,500 scientists and engineers around the globe to develop disruptive technologies in the field of electrification. Please, again, help me in doing a virtual round of applause for our keynote speaker, Dr. Amina Hamidi.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning, good afternoon. Really glad to be here with you today, even if it's virtually. So what I wanted to speak about is really the innovation journey of ABB Electrification and how we are moving together towards greener and smarter electrification for the future. Technology leadership is in our DNA as ABB Electrification, and it's not new. It has been there for over 100 years. As early as 1889, for example, Jonas Wenström has invented the three-phase system for generators, transformers, and motors that later were also first built by ASEA, which is in Sweden one of the historical founding companies of ABB. Then technology has evolved. In 1920, we have seen also one of the biggest highlights of our history, where Hugo Stotz in Germany has invented the first miniature circuit breaker with thermomagnetic tripping, replacing the fuses that were used in that time to protect people and equipment and to safeguard the safety of the people in households and in buildings. Since then, there were many generations of miniature circuit breakers that came to the market, and ABB is still selling millions of pieces of those products. So those historical times, technology innovation was mainly focused on electromechanical works. And then evolution was coming, and there was more and more electronics and even software later on. And in the 80s, I wanted to show one example. It's really a very nice example in this context today. Is the first microprocessor-based relay that was put in the market as early as 1982. And that's really the great-grandfather of the Rex relays that we are seeing nowadays. So more and more electronics, software, power electronics. And one nice example to mention in the power electronics area we have put in the market in 2010. It was the first high-power electric vehicle charging infrastructure. ABB has been pioneering in this area, and we continued working on the charging infrastructure for wider adoption of electric vehicles and making them faster and faster. While in the past it needed like a full night to charge the car, now with the fast electric vehicle chargers, we are able to charge a car for 200 kilometers autonomy in less than 8 minutes. So really technologies that are removing those barriers that we had to adopt the electric vehicles into the market. Those nice innovations are grounded on people and competencies. In ABB Electrification, we have over 2,700 R&D engineers, scientists, researchers in our labs, spread in 48 locations. You see on the map here some of the main locations of our research and development. But that innovation is not all born just inside with our internal teams and labs. We are also having a wider ecosystem of partnerships. Partnerships with universities. We have 25 university collaborations ongoing. Partnerships also with startups, 27 startup collaborations we have nowadays. And also with large digital players like Microsoft, HPE, IBM, and so on. That extended ecosystem of technologists is supporting us to come to the market every year with over 100 new products and solutions. And we have built also a very strong intellectual property around those technologies, over 4,200 patent families. And as technology is moving more and more towards digital, 40% also of our intellectual property is around digital. Digital is everywhere now, and we are putting in the market more and more connectable devices, having IoT systems. So 10 million plus connectable devices around the world in the field are already there. Now, I spoke about past innovations, new products, disruptions we have put in the market. What about the future? What are those scientists today working on and imagining and innovating? Before we answer that question, let us first look at the needs the evolution of the world and what are the big challenges we are trying to address today. The world has been changing recently. The world population is growing, and many people around the world are aspiring to a higher level of comfort, but also safety and security. And that is driving higher level of energy consumption and need for a stronger infrastructure to support all that. At the same time, we see growing environmental concerns. So we want more comfort, more devices, stronger infrastructure, but at the same time, we don't want to consume the earth. We want to do more with less. How can we do that? One way is to be very intelligent, smart, efficient in the way we use energy and we use the resources in order not to consume the earth. And ABB is supporting that journey in different areas and different ways. As mentioned, the smartness, putting and supporting the electrification with a smart and resilient infrastructure. The other one is supporting the adoption of greener electrification, so supporting, for example, introduction of renewable energy in the grids. And the other one I mentioned already is to support the cities to have a cleaner transportation infrastructure. So let us first look at the sustainable transportation topic. ABB has been a pioneer player in that area for many years already, not only with the electric vehicles that I will come to in a minute, but also through our technologies for rail infrastructure, for also ships and other transport means where we are supporting with electrical equipment to make them more efficient and greener. Now if we come to the electric vehicles, ABB is committed to accelerate the electric vehicle adoption in three ways. One is supporting, as I already mentioned, the fastest charging capabilities for cars, but also for buses or public transport, where the charging can happen within few minutes instead of several hours. This is one area. The other area is really to offer the customers, the municipalities, the fleet owners, a large variety and offering, a complete wide offering of charging infrastructure, the chargers, but also their integration into the grid when it needs medium voltage, for example, infrastructure to bring the chargers wherever we want to have them. And then the third piece is something very new, is something that is bringing a real revolution in the way we work and we trade energy and electricity. It's about the new charger technologies that is bidirectional. So instead of charging your car only from the grid, having the energy coming from the grid to charge the battery of your car, the new technology is now enabling you as a fleet manager or car owner to send back energy to the grid. And you are then supporting the grid, and at the same time you are also earning some money and being a key player in that grid infrastructure, in that electrification for higher efficiency and smartness of that infrastructure. So very, very nice story and really key innovations going on in this area. Now, I was mentioning smartness several times, and that's a key element. The distribution grid is becoming more and more complex from the supply side, but also from the consumption side. In terms of supply, we are not speaking about, energy generation in one place and energy consumption in another place. Now, it's becoming more complex, more interlinked. We speak about prosumers, buildings, industries that are also producing their own energy. So that grid has now more energy supply places, more places that can generate energy and inject into the grid through the solar panels, the renewable energy means. And then we see also from the consumption piece, also different ways of consuming energy, different places like electric vehicle infrastructure that is now popping up in many places, but also the heating that is becoming more and more electrical. So that grid has to be flexible enough and still resilient to manage all those and using, of course, the energy storage in between to balance between the demand and supply. Here I wanted to show you one example. You see in this video solar rooftop panels, but also electric vehicle chargings, and that facility owner, thanks to ABB Ability digital solutions, can have the full visibility of his energy supply and consumption, can manage it, can manage also the timing, when to charge, when to use the battery power and so on, and even optimize the tariffs. And also, which is very important, can manage the health of the assets, the health of the equipment, and thanks to that overall visibility of that energy game, he can right dimension the infrastructure. Not over-dimension it, but really right dimension it to support the consumption points that are needed in that infrastructure. So there are many, many more examples around that where more digital technologies, more smartness introduced together with the electrification and the electric distribution is supporting a more efficient use of the energy, but also of the infrastructure. In addition to smart energy management to allow us to better utilize renewable energy like solar and wind, we must continue to look for alternatives to fossil fuels. And fossil fuels today are continuing to serve as supplementary power in grids with a lot of renewable energy, but also in many grids still provide the primary power. Green hydrogen is another energy source with the potential to transform our world to the better. As a complement to solar and wind, hydrogen could help us achieve the 100% sustainable power grids. Hydrogen technology offers a cleaner alternative to the fossil fuels currently used when solar and wind are not producing. We are excited to be exploring ways to make that happen now with our infrastructure partners. Now back to our innovation journey, with the more recent highlights in the area of digitalization and connectivity. 2018, ABB has introduced two products that you know very well, the REX 640 and the centralized control and protection SSC 600. REX 640 introduced modular software and hardware enabling multiple applications to be run simultaneously for maximum flexibility and easy adaptation to changing protection requirements. With SSC 600, ABB introduced a new approach to protection and control in distribution networks, centralizing all protection and control functionality in one single device on substation level. Station-wide visibility is gained with such a solution. Now, moving to 2020 and later. As power generation becomes increasingly complex and less predictable, the grid must become more flexible. The required rate of change in the system will be high, yet at the same time, reliability requirements will increase. Overall system resilience is a key factor in the electric grid. Traditionally, resilience has been related to maintaining the power balance and protecting against network faults. But what we will start to see emerging is the aspect of adaptability and updatability of the system. Therefore, it's likely that we will see the emergence of new digital platforms that are operating in live mission-critical environments while being constantly updated. The needs are clear, and for the first time, we also start to have technologies available for realizing such platforms, including 5G, virtualized real-time computing, machine learning, artificial intelligence, and many others. A key challenge will be the optimal integration of those technologies. Let me now share with you a film that celebrates our aspirations to continue to shape a smarter society and a better world through safe, smart, and sustainable electrification.
ABB electrification is shaping a smarter society through our robust electrical solutions over a wide range of key segments. Helping generate clean energy, distribute power efficiently, and operate factories sustainably. Ensuring availability of power supply, reliability of energy flow, and scalability to support the world's data. With data at your fingertips, you can see the big picture, take control of your systems, and swiftly make smart, data-driven decisions, leading the digital transformation journey towards autonomy. Together, we are writing the future of safe, smart, sustainable electrification.
At ABB, we believe very much that we are on the most important journey in history. It's a journey of collaboration to reach a future that is safe, smart, and sustainable for the generations to come. And I hope you will join us on that journey. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Amina Hamidi, for that really interesting and fascinating keynote, giving us a bit of a bird's eye view, a sort of zoomed out perspective on all of the relevant and interesting innovations that are currently going on and also that are going to happen in the future. Did you know that over 1 million Relion protection relays supervise the safe continuity of electric networks in over 100 countries? Or that ABB has always been a pioneer in protection relays. Back in 1982, the company launched the first microprocessor-based protection relay that even Mrs. Hamidi spoke, or Dr. Hamidi spoke about in her presentation. Ever since, the company has continued pushing forward with new innovations. In 1985, the Spacom family was released, and relays from this product family are still widely in use today. The innovation journey has also brought the 500 series, and in 2008, the Relion family was launched. This substantial history of ABB and the technological development of today are coming together today in this event right here. We are now ready to introduce you to the latest addition to the Relion family. And for this launch, for this, reveal, I have the great pleasure of inviting with me on stage Mr. Martin Nyqvist, the Global Product Manager. He is here with in the studio with me today. Martin, welcome. We're happy to have you here. How are you doing today?
Thank you, Anssi. It's a big day today, and I'm actually feeling quite excited to finally be able to launch our X610.
Great. We're excited about it as well. Could you tell us a few words about yourself, just to begin with?
Yes, of course. I've been with ABB now for 21 years, and I've been working with protection relays throughout my entire career, more or less. And as I said, I'm really looking forward now to be able to launch this new device with you today.
I think, Martin, we're reaching that moment where we don't want to keep the audience waiting any longer. I think we are ready to introduce the newcomer. Martin, are you ready?
Yes, I am. Let's do this.
Here it is, the newest addition to the Relion product family, the REX 610. Martin, I think it would be great to, kick off or sort of start this session today with a few questions, going through a bit of Q&A that I've prepared for you today. So, looking at the opening remarks from Alessandro and Marco, they both mentioned that ABB has really listened to their customers' feedback when it comes to developing this product right here. Could you mention a few challenges that you heard or that you uncovered that customers informed you about?
Yes, I can, Anssi, and I think also that some of these were actually mentioned in this word cloud that we just had. Well, basically, in the past, one could build a substation and leave it more or less untouched for decades. But the situation today, as Amin also mentioned, is that the world is changing, and today it might be that requirements change and you need to be able to adapt the substation to meet these new needs. And of course, customers requested for a device that can be modified to meet these new requirements. And we'll try to answer that today. Another feedback was also that it's often complex selection of correct device. It's not uncommon that a protection relay has plenty of ordering options on both hardware and software, so a traditional brochure is no longer sufficient when selecting a device and a configurator is required. Customers requested easier selection to reduce the risk of ordering the wrong device and therefore losing time and money while waiting for a replacement unit or part.
That definitely makes sense. And the event today is called Innovative Simplicity. Could you elaborate a bit more on that? Why is the tagline Innovative Simplicity?
Well, while developing REX 610, we always had the needs of our customers priority. We wanted to give customer a device that would be easy to order, set up, use and maintain, exactly as Alessandro said in the opening words, and we think you will notice this during this event. To simplify ordering, we kept the number of variants to a minimum. Compared to similar products, REX can even have up to 99% fewer number of variants. And 99% is a huge number. And I think I need to open up that a bit at least. Traditionally, when ordering a relay, you would have to select between several power supply units, analog input modules, binary input-output options, communication options, software options, and application. These all had to be multiplied with each other. So that meant that a product could have hundreds, thousands, or even hundreds of thousands of variants. With that high number of variants, it can be difficult to select the correct device and a configurator is needed. But you will see something about REX on that one later.
Great. From the user perspective, what does this mean for the user?
Well, as I just mentioned, to simplify the selection, we designed the REX to have as few variants as possible. As power supply unit, analog input module and binary input covers the whole range. Communication is standard and there is multi-application coverage. In first release of REX 610 there will be only 6 variants. But we will be releasing some more modules in the future, but I can guarantee that the number of variants will stay on a very modest level. And that is also why we can say that REX 610 can have up to 99% fewer number of variants compared to similar products. Also, due to the small number of variants, it's even possible to keep REX 610 in store, and what previously had to be defined at ordering stage is now just programmed when taking the device into use. And that is a task that engineers anyway normally would have to do on other devices as well. Another thing to address simplicity is that we want it to be simple to modify REX 610 by adding, removing or replacing modules, rather than having to replace the whole relay. This means depending on project needs, you can modify the REX 610 that you have in stock by adding modules to suit your application need. And also, having modules in stock, you can even further reduce the number of variants. As you will see later in these presentations, To add a module is very simple. It locks itself into place, and there is no need to update any firmware, as it will automatically recognize the inserted module and is ready to be used. You will also see later this easy replacement of plug-in unit or module that will also shorten mean time to repair and minimize costly downtime.
I think, people tend to like examples that make it very tangible. So I was wondering, Martin, could you maybe give us an example where the REX 610 has a more simple approach?
Okay, as already mentioned, rather than having different products per application, we decided to go for a multi-application coverage with REX 610, something that was already introduced in REX 640. Advantage of having a multi-application device is not only that it significantly reduces variance, but it also reduces the number of needed spare units and leads to cost saving, as traditionally you would have needed a spare unit for every product type, while a single RX 610 can cover all. RX 610 is modular and scalable for easy and flexible customization according to protection and communication requirements. And how this works is that if a current input module is installed, RX 610 can use the current functions. If a voltage module is installed, it can use the voltage functions. And if both modules are installed, it can use functions that require both current and voltages. What functional to be used in RX 610 is configured using ABB's relay setting and configuration tool, PCM 600. And as I mentioned earlier, it's not defined at the ordering stage. With RX 610 offering this modularity, you can decide yourself if you like to order the RX 610 with the modules pre-installed, or you yourself like to order modules loose and easily adopt the RX 610 to your project needs. RX 610 will be supporting feeder and voltage protection in this initial release, and additional application will be supported in upcoming releases.
Excellent. And also a reminder to everybody tuning in, if you have a question, you want Martin to elaborate on something, type your question into the questions box on the right, because in the end of this session today, Martin will be answering your questions. So as a reminder, if you have questions as we go along, type them into the questions box and we will get to them in the end of today. One topic that is talked about a lot, Martin, is of course sustainability. And even Amina talked about the progress going towards a sustainable world. Does this relay support, those targets?
Oh yes. So going back to what Amina said, and also what customers have requested from us, we designed the RX 610 so it can be adapted to changing protection and communication requirements in the future. As an example, it might be that communication is not required today, but in your network, after some time, this requirement can change, and it's good to know that communication is standard on the RX 610. So it's just to enable it. In this case, RX 610 is equipped with both serial and Ethernet ports, so it's possible to activate IEC 6150 communication or any other protocol simply by changing the configuration of the device. Communication is vital to support connectable devices and smarter network, just like Amina said, and RX 610 is ready for that. As already mentioned, RX 610 will support new applications, additional modules in the future, and that will mean that RX 610 will also support new functionality in the future. But that doesn't mean that customers who already own RX 610 can't use these new functions. Customer will have continuous access to incrementally release new functionality via firmware updates to their RX 610. As a customer, this means that you can always have the latest addition and improvements to your device, and if you have devices in store, you don't have to worry that your inventory would not support the latest released functionality.
So what about safety and cost of investment? How does ABB ensure optimal safety and cost of investment?
The main purpose of a protection and control relay is to protect both human lives and equipment, as well as to ensure uninterrupted power supply throughout the relay's life cycle. ABB's knowledge and experience are not limited to relays only, but also covers switchgear as well as utility and industrial power distribution system and much more. This is why I would like to mention a bit of our lifecycle services to secure your investments. ABB offers full support for all protection and control relays throughout their entire life cycle. Our extensive lifecycle services include, among other, training, customer support, maintenance, modernization, in order to ensure safe, reliable and cost-effective protection solutions.
I was wondering, could you give us some examples of services that are available for relays?
Yes. Some services that I can mention are ABB Ability Backup Management for Electrical Systems, or Data Care. It's a web-based service for data sharing and backup service that allows convenient sharing of technical information on protection and control relays throughout their entire life cycle. This gives you an efficient sharing of technical information among employees, subcontractors and service providers. We will also be offering a convenient tailor-made retrofit adapter for smooth replacement of SPACOM with our RX610 relays that my colleagues Mika and Paresh will talk more about after a while, and I will also introduce you to some more additional services that we offer.
And looking at the Relion product family, in total, how does the REX610 fit in to the Relion product family?
It fits in very well, Anssi. So all Relion relays support safe, smart and sustainable electrification. And REX610 builds on ABB's strong heritage of freely configurable multifunctional relays and many proven protection algorithms. Decades of experience and extensive expertise in protection and control ensure that REX610 provides an optimal protection for all basic power distribution applications and more. The modular and scalable design makes creating your unique protection solution easy, whereas the exceptionally extensive range of default functionality, including communication options, allows easy alterations with no additional cost nor hardware changes. This makes REX610 not only flexible, but also a very cost-effective choice.
Thank you so much, Martin, for this description and overview. And just as a reminder to all of you tuning in, if and when you have questions, please type them into the question box on the right-hand side of the stream, because we're going to get to them in the end of our session today. And if you already know that you would like to have a one-to-one conversation with ABB representatives about this product or something else, you can also use the contact form just below, send that in, and an ABB representative will then reach out to you so that you can have your one-to-one conversation about this product or something else. But Martin, a few more questions that I had. What are some other things? Can you tell me a bit more about the REX610?
Yes. If you look at the REX610 itself, it has an easy-to-use local human-machine interface for setting, monitoring and controlling the device. A graphical display that allows multiple language support, and directly at release we will be having 8 languages supported, with more to follow shortly. There are 3 indicator LEDs. There is the ready, start and trip to show the status of the device. There are 10 programmable LEDs and 2 programmable function keys that can be configured using PCM600. There's also a front USB port for connecting the relay to a PC. And also, I might point out that the USB front actually simplifies certain routine tasks. These are, for example, when connecting the USB cable to your computer, it will automatically connect, so there is no need to change any computer settings to enable communication. It allows also for easy retrieval of information, such as disturbance recordings, without any additional software installed to your laptop. And the REX610 can be also powered through the USB port to read and write information to it.
Martin, can you tell me a bit more about the design of the REX610?
Looking at the design, it has a withdrawable plug-in unit design. And looking at the plug-in unit, there is only one variant. The plug-in unit has a so-called universal power supply, binary inputs and outputs, and these cover the whole range. This makes it easy to replace the plugin unit, for example, as if it says REX610 on the plugin unit, it will work without going into the technical details. By removing the plugin unit, it's also possible to easily access the modules that are installed in the case. What we have here is the current and voltage input modules and some additional module slots for modules that we will be releasing in the future. This withdrawable design enables swift replacement, leading to a short mean time to repair and minimized costly downtime. And to avoid accidental or unauthorized removal of the plugin unit, it's possible to seal or lock the handle.
Another key feature of smart networks is connectivity. What does this mean for the REX610?
Communication is becoming more and more important for protection and control devices. That is why we decided that REX610 should have communication as standard. REX610 is always equipped with an Ethernet port and a serial port on the back of the relay. Protocol supported in this initial release is IEC 61850 and Modbus, with more to follow. REX610 support both vertical and horizontal 61850, and you can run different protocols in parallel.
And you said that the REX610 supports multi-applications. Could you explain that, Martin?
Traditionally, you would have one product per application, even though hardware looked the same. So there would be a product for feeder protection and another for motor protection and so on. With multi-application, device can reduce variants, needed spare parts, and so on. It makes it simpler to handle and use. Application covering, again, I mentioned, will be feeder and voltage, and more applications to come. But also looking at the default functionality, REX610 has protection, control, condition monitoring and supervision, measurements, logging and communication. And of course, the 610 configuration can be tailored to meet application-specific requirements using PCM600. With PCM600, it's also possible to combine protection functionality with logical elements, and very importantly also, it's possible to easily document the configuration.
Some people, on the call might be thinking about, ordering. What about ordering, the REX610?
Again, here we try to make it very simple. So selection of the most suitable REX610 is very easy, as there is only hardware options in the order code, with hardware modules installed unlocking the functionality of the REX610. This means that you don't need to know the exact configuration, rated voltages, communication protocols, for example, at the ordering stage. And there is possibility to order and add additional modules throughout the relay lifecycle. It's also possible to keep the REX610 and modules in store for flexible adaptation to changing project requirements.
Excellent. Martin, we're still going to deep dive into this in a moment, but I think now it would be a good time to have a quick look at the short overview video. Should we do that next?
Yes, we can do that.
Excellent. I think, the audience is interested and hopefully excited about this, as we are as well. Martin, when will the REX 610 be available for purchase?
The REX 610 will be available for purchase in Q3 of this year.
And something that we saw on the word cloud as well, that was mentioned even a few times, is cybersecurity. How has that been taken into account in the REX 610?
We are taking cybersecurity very seriously, as this is an area that changes constantly. We are keeping our eyes on the cybersecurity development by having a dedicated cybersecurity team and are updating our devices and recommendations if needed. Firmware updates will be available to make sure that devices already in use will also be up to date with improved protections against threats.
What about safety, Martin?
Protection relays are designed to be safe, and they are there to protect both human lives and equipment. Further addressing safety, we made sure that users are safe while working with the REX 610. For example, during type testing, we are actually having more tests performed than what the protection relay standard requires. In the future, we will also be releasing an additional module that makes it even safer to work in close proximity to the switchgear.
And how about the IEC 61850 certification? Is the REX 610 IEC 61850 certified?
Yes, it will be certified by a third-party independent lab at the time of release.
And what about generator protection? Can we do generator protection with the REX 610?
We have other Relion family relays that are more designed more or less for generator protection, and I can say that it's also currently not planned for REX 610.
All right. So next up on the agenda, we're going to be continuing with expert talks, where we're going to be diving even deeper into the REX 610. ABB's experts will give their insights and perspectives on the REX 610 and the value that the relay offers. The first topic is called the ultimate sophistication, simplicity, and it's actually presented by you, Martin. So we're
correct, yes.
Happy to have you in multiple places. Now let's roll the video for the first expert talk by our own Martin here.
Hello, my name is Martin Nyqvist, and I'm the product manager for REX 610. REX 610 is freely configurable all-in-one protection relay that covers the full range of basic power distribution application without foregoing simplicity. REX 610 has the same cutout size as our Spacom 100 series relays, which in fact belong to the most sold protection relays in the world. The local HMI of REX 610 with menus is similar to that of our Relion 611, 615 and 620 series relays that are also among the world's most sold protection relays. With such a strong history, it's an honor to finally show you the latest addition to our Relion family of relays, REX 610. Now let's take a look at how innovative simplicity permeates all aspects of REX 610. Here on the table, you can see all REX 610 modules that are included in the first release. REX 610 itself, current input modules with either compression or ringlet type connectors, and a voltage input module. All inputs on the device itself or modules have software parameters for setting the nominal values of the inputs. So you don't need to specify the input range already at the ordering stage. This means that there is, for example, only one variant of the plug-in unit, as it has a universal power supply and binary input thresholds that are software settable. This makes selecting and ordering your REX 610 relay very simple. It also makes it possible to keep it in store for upcoming projects. You can either order your REX 610 relay with all the needed modules installed directly from the factory, or then only modules for later use. In case you need to add a module to your REX-Extend relay, it's a very simple operation. First, make sure that the device is switched off. Release the handle, rotate it 90 degrees and pull the plug-in unit out of the case. Insert the module until it locks into place. Next, insert the plug-in unit and rotate the handle until it latches into the case. REX-Extend is now ready to use the inserted module. Next step would be to take the new functionality that comes with the inserted module into use by using ABB's relay setting and configuration tool, PCM600. In case of the unlikely event that a device needs to be replaced, it's a very straightforward operation. It's possible to replace either the plug-in unit or any module without having to replace the whole relay. Also, with only a few modules, the number of spares can be significantly reduced. For instance, with only one variant of the plug-in unit, you only need one type of spare unit instead of separate units, depending on the application, voltage level, software options, and so on. So in case you would like to replace the plug-in unit of this device, you can just collect a spare plug-in unit from the storage, download the configuration to the new plug-in unit, switch the power off, replace the plug-in unit, and power on my REX-Extend. For REX-Extend, the application, threshold, communication settings, and so on all come with the configuration that was downloaded. This makes the replacement process very efficient. Well, this was a very quick introduction to what REX-Extend has to offer. I hope you found it interesting and that you are eager to learn more about our newcomer, REX-Extend. Thank you.
Thank you, Martin, for that video demonstration as well. It's great to have you in multiple places because you truly, know the REX-610. So that's great. I had a few more questions. The relay is easy to use, as we've talked about, as you've mentioned. There are only a few variants available, which we also talked about. Well, what does this mean for OEMs and distributors?
Well, with fewer variants, you can have fewer versions in stock and you can reduce your inventory and related costs, yet without compromising your delivery schedules or customer satisfaction.
And I mean, looking at this unit here, it looks quite small to me. How much does it weigh?
It weighs about 2.5 kilos, so it's actually about, well, close to a kilo lighter than, for example, the Spacon relay that it can replace.
Cool. And how about different connectors? Does the REX-610 support different kinds of connectors too?
As was also previously seen in this expert talk, there are different connectors to choose from while ordering, for example, the current input module, yes.
And you mentioned universal power supply in your presentation earlier. What does that mean?
Universal power supply means that there's only one power supply that covers the whole input range. Traditionally, on a similar product, there could be 2, maybe possibly even 3 different power supplies needed to cover the same input range as the one power supply of REX-Extend is now covering.
Martin, I can assume that this hasn't been just a one-person job to create this. Could you tell me a bit more about the people behind this product?
Yes, of course. So basically, with a development project of this magnitude, a lot of people have been involved, more or less throughout the whole organization. Of course, how long time they have been involved, it might be hours, days, and of course to some core team, it could be more or less years. So I'd really like to thank everybody that has contributed to this product. It's a big day for us all, and I think everyone has done amazing work and really stepped up during these very unusual circumstances that we are facing. Safety is of the highest priority for ABB, and I'm happy to be here today on behalf of the team behind REX-Extend.
Yeah, I mean, congratulations to the team on my behalf as well. I can imagine that it's a cool day to finally have this product launched live and here in front of us. I can imagine that it's been quite the team effort, and it's been also probably quite unique this past year, to say the least.
To say the least, yes, I would say that there were challenges that we needed to overcome, but again, I'm so proud of the team effort that we put into this.
Exactly. Well done, well done. We're ready to move on to the next expert talk. What do you think, Martin? Should we do that?
We can take a look at the next one, yes.
Exactly. So next up for our second expert talk, we have Raimonda Kahinoja, who is a project manager at ABB. Raimonda will shortly celebrate 10 years at the company, so congratulations to you, Raimonda, already a bit in advance. She has solid experience working with protection relays and with training the customers and partners on topics of digital substation systems, protection applications, and related tools. Today, she's going to be talking about future-proofing your protection and control assets. It's a very relevant theme, I can assume, for many of you. So without further ado, let's go to the second expert talk of today with Raimonda Kahinoja.
Greetings on my behalf to everybody. My name is Raimonda Kahinoja, and as a project manager, I spend my days working on projects for digital solutions in medium voltage power distribution. Together with the team, we connect protection relays and automation products to deliver ready-to-use setups tailored for each customer individually. Today I'm here with you to share my perspective on the REX 610 relay. All Relion protection relays, including REX 610, are managed using ABB's relay setting and configuration tool, PCM600. PCM600 is used throughout the whole life cycle of the protection relay. Now I will show you some examples of how you can work with REX 610 using PCM600, and one example where PCM600 is not used. REX 610 is a freely configurable, all-in-one protection relay that covers the full range of basic utility applications. REX 610 has a modular and scalable design that allows easy and flexible customization according to protection and communication requirements, which we know can change. Here you can see an REX 610 configuration in the Application Configuration tool in PCM600. Using the Application Configuration tool also makes documenting of the configuration easy. After the configuration is done, you can set the protection parameters using the Parameter Setting tool. You have already seen how easy it is to add a new module to REX 610. If the modified relay hasn't been configured yet, you don't have to confirm any changes using PCM600. Just proceed to the normal configuration of the relay. In case your REX 610 has been configured before the new module was inserted, you will need to confirm this change to the configuration to be able to use the new functionality. This can be easily done using the Hardware Configuration tool of PCM600. To confirm the change, you just launch the Hardware Configuration tool. Select the slot and the card type that you inserted into the slot, and click Save. After this, you will be able to add all the new functionality to the REX 610. Sometimes, like in testing or development phases, you might have to retrieve some information or change configuration of a relay very quickly. it might be then difficult to find a suitable power supply. In a situation like this, you can also connect REX to a laptop via the front port of the relay. This will power the relay partly to allow communication, alteration of parameters, and using local HMI. When the relay is only USB powered, the protection functions, for instance, will not be running. The relay will therefore be in internal fault state, showing the fault code USB powered. In order the REX610 to be fully operational, the auxiliary power has to be connected. Now that the relay is USB powered, you can navigate the local HMI or use PCM600 to alter parameter settings. Another benefit of using the USB port is that it is very easy to communicate with the relay. Many of you have probably moved pictures from your mobile phone to a computer using USB connection. You simply connect the USB cable, allow the connection, and start moving the pictures without any additional software. Now, why should it be any more complicated than working with a protection relay? For REX610, the USB connection works similarly to that of a mobile phone, although it depends on the settings of the device. Then give a username and a password to enable communication. These settings can be changed depending on your own policies. After connecting the USB cable and entering the correct username and password, REX610 will appear in the file explorer of your computer. Navigate to the Comtrade folder and retrieve the files for further analysis. Now you have seen how easy it is to work with REX610, regardless of its life cycle stage. I thank you for your interest and wish you a very good day.
That was an excellent hands-on perspective on working with the REX610. Martin, why is modularity and scalability so important in a relay?
It gives flexibility to the user. One can modify the REX610 so it fulfills the requirements now and also in the future by adding modules or functions to an existing device compared to having to replace the device even for smaller changes. The modularity and scalability is also what enables the low number of variants of REX610. It gives the possibility to keep REX610 and modules in store and reduces the number of devices and modules that are needed for spare parts.
So Raimonda showed us in the expert talk that it's possible to connect the relay to a laptop with a USB cable. Will there be any cybersecurity concerns around this?
No, they won't. There's a setting in REX610 to disable the front port communication, and it's also possible to require users to have to enter username and password before they can connect, just like Raimonda showed there in the video.
And I had a question about the PCM600. What is this tool? Could you tell us a bit more about it?
Well, the PCM600 is a relay configuration tool that's used by REX610 and many other products in ABB portfolio. I would also like to add that it's available free of charge and downloadable from the ABB's website.
Excellent. That sounds like a very useful tool then in that regard. So we are now moving on to the third and last expert talk of today on the topic of retrofitting your substation with the REX610. And it's going to be presented to us today by Mr. Paresh Mandapi and Mr. Mika Kauppinen. Both Paresh and Mika have been with ABB for a long time. Their combined experience at the company is over 35 years, so they know what they're talking about. In other words, they have vast knowledge in the field of protection, relays, and cycle services. So let's now move to the third expert talk and watch the video by Mr. Paresh Mandape and Mr. Mika Kauppinen.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you, and thank you for joining us from all around the world. I am Paresh Mandape, Global Product Manager responsible for the IEC Protection Relays Lifecycle Services portfolio.
And I'm Mika Kauppinen, Sales and Marketing Manager responsible for the Distribution Solutions service business. We warmly welcome you to this expert talk on retrofitting substations with REX 610.
Mika, it's an exciting day today as we are launching the new relay REX 610 and also a new service solution, isn't it?
Indeed, Paresh. We have been waiting for this day and we are really glad to bring the state-of-the-art Relion REX 610 protection and control relay to the market. And of course, very pleased that we are also expanding our service portfolio as well.
Yes, and when we talk about expanding the service portfolio, then today we are launching the new relay retrofit program for older generation relays like SPACOM to REX 610 relays. Can you tell us how the market requirement arises and how it is optimizing the cost of ownership for a relay?
We have more than 1.5 million ABB protection relays of a different generation installed and in operation around the world in different customer segments. Our customers and users of protection relays are always interested in having innovative and easy to use service solutions. These solutions that we offer make the products more efficient and long-lived throughout the product's life cycle stages. We have been delivering SPACOM relays since 1985. With advancement in technology, our new generation products offer safe, smart, and sustainable ways of extending the lifetime of the protection relays, and eventually the lifetime of switchgear.
I cannot agree more. We endeavor to satisfy our customers' needs by maintaining and developing new service solutions. With strong focus on our product lifecycle management policy, when products are transitioning from active towards classic, limited, and obsolete stage, then we look into the development of service solutions suitable for each lifecycle stage. As you mentioned, we have been delivering SPACOM relays since 1985, and we are able to offer today variety of service solutions for those SPACOM relays, such as one-to-one replacement units, spare parts, repair services, preventive maintenance services, and possibility to do retrofit with our Relion 615 series relays. So, we are expanding our service portfolio today by launching Relay Retrofit Program for SPACOM to REX 610.
Great. I think with this program, our customer can accurately schedule various retrofit phases, and that can be efficiently executed. And for sure, this will reduce downtime time to bare minimum, saving end users both time and money. Isn't that so?
Yes, certainly. That is the point. So this relay retrofit program for SPACOM to REX 610 focuses on the control and repeatable procedure for replacing the existing SPACOM relays with new Relion REX 610 protection and control relays.
Interesting. So can you tell more about the entire process?
Yes, sure. The entire replacement process from engineering through installation to testing of the inputs and outputs of the relay is supported with this program. We will deliver the Relion REX 610 protection and control relay together with pre-wired terminals and mounting assembly. Additionally, we have developed configuration templates with the PCM 600 configuration tool. These configuration templates can be used in the REX 610 relay. These templates defines the configuration equivalent to SPACOM standard configuration. So the result of using the template is therefore SPACOM equivalent default configuration in REX 610 relay with the exception of parameter setting and communication configuration. When needed safety procedures are done at site, then work can begin to retrofit SPACOM relay. It's good to inspect relay wiring first for any discrepancies. Then we can remove the orange color terminal wherever applicable. Pre-wired terminal set can be inserted by loosening the existing mounting screws of SPACOM relays. The pre-wired terminal set is marked on the top based on the existing SPACOM relay terminal numbers. This is done in such a way so the user can remove secondary wires from the existing SPACOM relay and just connect the same on the corresponding terminal of the pre-wired terminal sets. Once all the rewiring is done, then we can remove pre-wired terminal set and keep it aside. Then we can remove existing SPACOM relay from the panel door. Because the mechanical dimensions of SPACOM and REX 610 are the same, there is no need for cutting. As such, REX 610 can be installed in the same place as SPACOM without modifying the panel door. Pre-wired adapter set can then be installed with the same mounting arrangement as that for REX 610. We can then reinstall the orange connector terminal and then other pre-wired terminal sets to REX 610 relay. Instrument transformers, that is CTs and VTs wiring, is also pre-wired, but then user can decide and disconnect it at site and connect it directly to the REX 610 relay. So it is very time efficient process wherein users do not need to refer to any manuals and they do not need to change existing schematic drawings. We can then energize the relay to check relevant parameters and do further commissioning checks. For the testing phase, we are launching Relion binary input and output tester for REX 610. The same tester can also be used with other Relion series relays. Binary input-output testers are used for testing the binary inputs and outputs of Relion protection relays. These easy-to-use and compact testers can be used for simulation during the design of the application configuration, including troubleshooting. They can also be used for routine maintenance and testing. And finally, all these stages are supported with comprehensive customer documentation, such as application manual and installation manual.
That sounds wonderful. It doesn't get any easier than this. We have now come with the perfect balance between a product and a service solution, and all in the context of innovative simplicity. I think it's another feather in our cap when it comes to offering lifecycle service solutions for SPACOM relays.
Yes, thank you, Mika. Having now introduced the relay retrofit program for SPACOM to REX 610, I am sure our viewers would like to know how to get our support. So can you explain more about that part?
Yes, and when our customers would like to discuss more about their specific requirements, our service units around the world are happy to support. The teams help customers in analyzing the installed base, understanding the needs, and offer a suitable solution like Relay Retrofit Program. Service teams also help implement those solutions on site, doing, for example, the installation and commissioning of the new relay. So our service teams are looking forward to retrofitting your substation with REX 610.
Great. So, before we conclude, we once again thank you all for listening to us, and we are very pleased to launch our new service solutions, Relay Retrofit program for SPACOM to REX 610 and Relion Binary Input-Output Tester 610, 611, 615, 620. Thank you.
And we are looking forward to hear from you soon. Thank you.
That was really interesting, and I think we all learned a lot from Mika and Paresh. So that was really interesting, and I think so far this has been very informative and very interesting. But now I think it's time for some Q&A. So there was, hundreds of people online from all over the world, and they had questions related to the REX 610. So Martin, what do you think? Should we hop into the questions that came from the people in the audience?
Yes, I guess the people are very eager to learn about the product, so then let's take the questions.
Great, let's go into the questions. So, and thanks, by the way, for all the questions that you've been sending. It's been very nice to see that there's been a very active engagement on your part. The first question, and by the way, I already apologize, I might mispronounce some of your names, so don't take that personally. But the first question, Martin, comes from Mahesh Kedakar. Is REX 610 programmable for specific protection functions of specific equipments, or is it different variants of REX 610?
Okay, I'm not sure if I fully understand the question, but basically it's so that we only have one variant of the REX 610. So basically, depending on which current input module or voltage input module is installed, you can then select from a library of protection functions supporting this. So some functions are related to, for example, then feeder protection, some will be to voltage protection, and of course it will extend the libraries throughout with these incremental releases, as well as to introduce additional functionality like new applications and so on. I hope this answers the question.
Great. And the next question, and by the way, if it doesn't, if this didn't answer your question or you still have further questions, you can always also just send in the contact form below, to speak with the ABB counterpart where you can tackle these in closer detail. But the next question comes from Jay Chocha, who asked that, is this related to earlier 610 family?
That's a simple question. No. The 610 series was an older Relion series, and basically REX 610 is a brand new device with new technology and belongs to a new platform. Maybe it's difficult to see from the picture here, but also the REX 610 is actually physically smaller than the older 610 series.
Exactly. Yeah. So the next question is from Christoph Ungersbock, who asked that, can firmware updates be done without involvement of the factory?
Yes, basically firmware updates, or actually firmwares, will be distributed on, I believe it was DataCare. And basically you just download the configuration, firmware from there, and then you yourself go into PCM and click update firmware and then select the file. It will be downloaded to the relay, and that's it. So there is no interaction needed with the factory or anything. You don't need any internet connection other than to retrieve the new firmware.
So it sounds pretty simple and straightforward.
As it should be.
As it should be, exactly. Well, I mean, that is the theme of today, innovative simplicity. So the next question is from Jithink, who asks that, noticed the USB functionality. Can it be configured at desk?
Configured at desk, yes, in principle. as the device is here now on the desk, I could basically connect my laptop to it now, and it would power up, as you saw also that Raimonda did. And of course, I'm able to push the configuration to it. So yes, it can be programmed at desk, and then you can take it out and install or exchange, for example, the plug-in unit or whatever is needed. Yes.
Excellent. The next question comes again from Mr. Mahesh Kedekar, who asks that, is the REX 610 compatible to RIO 600 IO modules?
If the question is that can you connect the Rio 600 to REX 610, the answer is yes. If the question is can I use the Rio 600 modules inside the REX 610, no, it can't. It has its own module. But of course, if you want to extend the functionality of REX 610 by using Rio 600 modules, yes, it is supported.
Excellent, excellent. And the next question is that will the relay have fiber optic communication ports?
Okay, in this presentation, I mentioned, of course, that there will be an Ethernet port and a serial port. I did not go into details if it will be fiber optic or galvanic. In this initial release, there will be an RJ45, so it will be galvanic. But I can't really disclose, but there are some additional slots of empty modules in the device, and if you're able to get hand of a picture of the back of the relay, maybe you should take a look at what the inscriptions are there, and it might answer your question.
Excellent. And by the way, good job, Martin, for answering these on the fly. You're doing great, I think.
Well, I am the product manager, so I've been working with this device for quite many years, but yes, I don't remember by heart all the technical details, so don't ask me about the input ranges and so on, because I need to look at documentation.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm going to try to not throw any hard curveballs your way. So Stefan Vleschauers, and again, I'm sorry for the bad pronunciation, asks this question that we have 1,000 of SPAJ14X relays installed in Combiflex rack, and in parentheses apparatus frame. Is there a mounting accessory for retrofitting these relays?
At the initial release, we don't have a mounting accessory that also has the Combiflex. If there's a need for it, let us know, and of course we can create these if there's a demand.
Great. Dragos asks that where is the REX 610 manufactured?
The REX 610 is actually, well, surprise, surprise, we're in Finland, so the main factory line is here in Finland. So it will be manufactured here, and the standard delivery time is of course 2 weeks, but of course, as said, if you want to, you can keep it in stock, and that means that basically the delivery time is as long as it takes for you to walk to your storage.
The next question comes from Mehdi Hassan, who asks that when will HSR and PRP be available in the REX 610?
I think I need to go back again to what I answered on this fiber optic question on the Ethernet there. At this point in time, I can't say, but there are, let's say, additional module slots that are empty in this initial release, and maybe take a look at the inscriptions on the back of the relay if you find a picture of it.
So Vinay Dat seems to be quite curious. He asked that, can I please get a link to datasheet today after this launch?
Okay. This will be available on the ABB web pages. Actually, this same page as you used to enroll to this event will have some documents available directly after this event ends. Also, we will continuously update information to this campaign, and of course, you can go there and take up to learn more about REX 610. Technical documentation and so on will be available for you at time of sales release. So there, of course, you will have to wait a little bit longer until this full set of documentation will be available.
Great. So Jong-Uk Kim has a question, and I'm totally going to butcher this question because this isn't my, terminology and lingo, but asks that will the relay support IEC 61850-9-2 LE for process bus?
Yes. So basically, RX610 is not planned to have process bus as it is today. We have other relays for that you can choose from the Relion platform or family of relays.
Great. There's a lot of questions in here, so people are clearly interested about the product, which I think is great.
Yes.
And as we saw in the poll, people are here really primarily to understand this new product, so I think it's great, and thanks everybody for sending us your questions. And by the way, if we don't get to your question today, I spoke with the ABB people just before we went online, and they said that all questions will be answered in the upcoming weeks. How that's going to be done is still to be determined, but if we don't get to your specific question today, don't worry not, we will get to it, you will have it answered. So we'll get back to you in due time, do not worry at all. But let's see what could be a good next question here. Alexander Bakirov asks the question that, is there the same relay for 1A or for 5A secondary CT current?
Yes. So basically, as was mentioned in, for example, my expert talk, there was this different modules there on the table. So basically, this same module will cover the whole range. And to find out what the whole range is, you will have to wait until we release the technical documentation. But in this case, with 1 and 5, it is the same, yes. But to find out what the complete input range is, you need to wait until a little bit longer, unfortunately.
So the ABB team is clearly keeping you in anticipation. And,
Yes.
Specifics will be in due time shared then. I think we still have time for a few questions. So Leon Ginsberg asks that, is ARC detection and use of sensors supported?
Well, I mean, this is again a very interesting question, and this one is similar as with the fiber optic and these redundancy questions. In the initial release, no, we don't have arc protection, but again, if you find a picture of the relay showing the backport, then you can take a look at the inscriptions. It possibly might answer your question.
Great. And I think the last question that we tackled today is from Mohanadas. What communication protocols does the REX610 have?
Yes, basically now at initial release, there will be IC 61850 and Modbus. Modbus will be both Ethernet and serial based. There will be more protocols released, but you need to wait until we release. And we will inform, of course, when they are coming, but initially these two. Yeah.
So this has been a pretty action-packed 2 hours. I hope you've enjoyed it. And before we end today, I'd just like to quote Amina, who said that at ABB, we believe very much that we are on the most important journey in history. It's a journey of collaboration to reach a future that is safe, smart, and sustainable for generations to come. I hope you will join us on that journey, is what Amina said, and I think that's really a phenomenal place and a phenomenal sort of quote to end here today. So now we're nearing the end, and on my behalf, I would really like to thank you all for participating in this innovative simplicity experience today. Also, on behalf of the organizers, I would like to thank all the speakers, presenters, and everybody, who contributed to the event, and for you participants as well for showing up. We really appreciate you being here and taking the time. Before you leave, however, we would love your feedback by answering the last poll, which is visible to you on the right-hand side of the live stream. So just how would you rate this event on a scale of 1 to 5? We would love your feedback before you leave. And thank you so much for coming. It's been a pleasure on my behalf hosting you here and having the hundreds of you, from all over the world dialing in on my behalf, on the behalf of ABB. Thank you so much for having made it here, and let's continue the conversation, and most importantly, stay safe. Thank you on my behalf. Bye.
Bye.